Greetings and salutations. And we're back with the Necromancer on Hardcore, where I asked the comments to choose the talent. And they chose Raise Skeleton. Now, granted, I only got one comment. I was waiting for more. But I was so excited to get back into it because I want this kind of interaction, right? So they chose Raise Skeleton, so all of my points are now in Raise Skeleton. So I get 6 of them. Not bad. And we're going to try to make the best of it. Now, the only issue with Raise Skeleton is once you run out of bodies, you're kind of left in the lurch there. I mean, outside of the fact that, you know...
I need mana.
Okay, my mana is also a problem here. But once you run out of bodies, you can't really resurrect anymore. And so, like, things like Duriel become a chore. Because Duriel will just chew through all the minions, and once he's chewed through all your minions, what do you got left? Tanks on E. Mephisto won't be as bad because there's bodies. Like, you can walk around and, you know, find the bodies of the council that you killed and the other people, like the, Zakramites or whatever's down there. You can find all those minions you've killed and resurrect from them. But Duriel's going to be a problem because Duriel's got that closed off chamber. I mean, I guess I could port out and then, like, maybe go get some bodies and come back. We'll have to see. But as it stands, like, once you get the skeletons up there, like, they just do all the work. And if I get the bow, a 3-socketed bow, and I make the edge rune word, it's going to be even crazier because then everybody will just die to thorns. But now I'm happy that I've got that somebody actually picked a talent. I am. Of course, the downside is now that... Oh, wait. No, as I say, I was gonna enchant that wand. Can't. It's blue. I'm trying to think where else is going to be difficult. Bale. Bale might be difficult. Then again, I should have Edge Runeward by then. Diablo would be pretty easy because there's going to be thousands of corpses around I could utilize. Aside from him absolutely laying waste to my army and then coming after me. Like a fat guy at a snack bar. And yes, as a fat guy, I can joke about fat guys. So, he's just going to lay waste to all my minions and then me, so that becomes problematic. Maybe I should put the rune bow on her. Maybe I should put the bow on her. I'm going to think of it. Interesting. Because if you think about it, right? She gets the bow. I get the aura. And then I can still wear other stuff. Aha. And she can lower their defense. With that inner sight, she lowers their defense. Which makes it easier for my minions to kill. Now, I will tell you one thing. There is other games that are very akin to Diablo 2 that are really fun if you've never tried them. Last Epoch is good. Grim Dawn is good. They're a little bit different, but they're still good games. I mean, 100% good games. Would play them, and I mean, I even enjoy them.
This place has the stench of demons.
I don't have the room on my hard drive to get them and put them, because I have a whole bunch of other things on my hard drive, like Call of Duty and Astroneer and Hearthstone and Diablo 2 and Minecraft, and I only have Minecraft for the megaliths, but not a lot of people really like the megaliths. I also have Balatro, which is small. Arguably, Balatro is very small. I think I have like 120 gigabytes free. Question is, do I really want to load it down and put like Grim Dawn and something else on? No, not really. Oh wait, I was supposed to check that too. Let me check it real quick. I'll stand right here. Loading up the Epic Games launcher. Reason being is there's free games every so often on Epic Games. And as much as most people don't like it, Legion Tower Defense 2 is free, apparently. So I will get that for free. I mean, if you think about it, it's a $20 game, and it cost me nothing, right? And why not, right? The one that I got the other day that's in my library right now, it was Civilization 6 Platinum Edition or whatever. It's incredible. You ended up getting like 2 DLC or a bunch of DLCs and a bunch of other stuff. It's insane. And it was all for nothing. And a lot of people don't like Epic Store, but hey, you know, if they're giving away free games like that, why not? I wouldn't mind playing Civilization 6. Don't know if I'd play it online, though. Like, play it for a video. Because the problem is what I do is I end up getting... There's only so much diplomacy you can do in Civ before it breaks down. Right? Because it's almost like the NPCs and everything in Civ. Just doesn't matter what, you know, difficulty you have them on. It's like they run a check and see how much standing military you have. And if you don't have a lot of resources, you can't make a standing military. There have been times where I was stricken for resources, and I had them, you know, people came in and did a military conquest, and I held them off to a degree. The towns I lost through military conquest were immediately flipped on culture. Because I was producing so much culture, I was flipping towns based on culture. And so it got to the point later on that, like, the enemy computers that were, I believe they were on a harder difficulty, realized that they couldn't really deal with it, because even if they were taking away my cities, they were just losing them to culture like the turn and a half later. So they just stopped going to war with me, which is kind of cool because they wanted to call a ceasefire after they took the city. They took the city. They're like, well, okay, ceasefire, because it flipped. And it's like, well, that was fruitless. You just spent all those resources attacking a city just to lose it to a bunch of people playing instruments and having theater performances. It's like you lost it to culture. So, I think Civ would be really fun with a whole group of actual players. And then you'd have to have them all in the same room with their computers like all facing one another so that there's like this spot in the middle. And then you'd run into them and you'd have to actually hash out trade deals right there. We'd have to go into like parlay with them and then talk to them, like bring them over and be like, okay, so, and then sit there and have a very closed discussion. I mean, technically, you could do it on like Discord, I guess, and then drag the other player into a channel and have a discussion privately about like trade deals, alliances, betrayals. I think that would be kind of cool. Get like an 8-player Civ game going. That's all players, and just sitting down and having a big old Civ game. That'd be awesome. Because then you'd always have to sit there and fear, you know, am I, am I gonna get stabbed in the back by another player, right? You'd have to sit there and really try to calculate out if this person that you were talking to for trade deals is truly has your best interest at heart, right? Because they're all trying to win the game. And some people could be going for domination victory, some people could be going for cultural victory, etc. Wonder victory, so getting those certain resources might actually get them to their wonders faster. That'd be a really, really interesting thing. I might have to float the idea with a few of my friends. I don't have 8 friends, I have like 3. And the 3 friends I have always seem to be very busy, which, hey, I get it. It's life. You know, they got jobs, they got work and everything. And, I have obligations as well. My obligations just so happen to be here at the house. So I kind of luck out in that regard, which allows me to do YouTube. And I'm waiting for this to pick up and become more popular. And it will. It's just a matter of time, as is everything in life. And so, when it does pick up and become more popular, one of the things I'm going to have to realize is that it doesn't matter how popular or how big of a name you get, right? You can become the world's biggest sensation. Don't let it get to your head. Just don't. Right? Like, appreciate the fans for what they do. Appreciate the viewers for what they're doing. Because, again, without the viewers, without the fans, you wouldn't have that notoriety. You wouldn't have that level of influence, right? And I will tell you this right now. I will tell you this right now. I will not do 2 things on this channel. Well, above the no editing. I don't edit, so you forget about editing. I won't hire an editor to have editing. Absolutely not. I'm going to leave my content raw, unfiltered, unedited, because it's more organic and it's more natural. So that's always going to happen. The 2 things you won't have to worry about on this channel. 1, I'm not going to sit there and constantly try to inflate my own channel. Right? I'm not going to do that. I figure if people want to, they can. If they don't, they won't. Plain and simple. Because I think to me, it sounds like mild desperation when people say that. I get why they do it, because they want to push, more metrics. They want to have the ability to have more of an impact, more of a reach, and in the algorithm that pushes that algorithm. So I get it. Like, I understand it. But I don't like doing that. So that's never going to happen. Number 1. Number 2, I am never going to do a paid promotion unless, and this is the caveat, unless it is a product I have used and enjoyed personally, or a game I have played and enjoyed personally. I must have a vested interest in it. Otherwise, I won't do it. Not at all. Doesn't matter how many they could tack enormous zeros on there. I'd be like, nope. Because it's not about the money. It's about principle. It's about being a principled individual. By sitting there and saying, I'm going to not promote anything because there's not enough you could pay me to promote it because I've never personally used it. Now, if they say, hey, well, we're going to loan you the product, we're going to allow you to play the product, and if you enjoy it and really get into it, then would you consider the promotion? That's different. Because now I've played it and I have an interest in it, if it holds me. Completely different set of circumstances. But I won't do it just for the money. And in some cases, I would probably even do promotions for free. Because it's like, you also have to think, yes, I understand that, like, the game creators are trying to make money. I understand that a lot of people are trying to make money on this stuff. But at the same time, it's like, if my doing that for free or for little to nothing because I enjoy it helps that developer create a better product because they have more overhead in which to develop the product, then I'll do it. Thing is I know that a lot of these development companies have tons of money that they effectively squander because they don't spend the time actually developing. Like, somebody they showed the inside of the Roblox development offices. They did a video of the inside of the Roblox development offices. And these people get, like, handcrafted lattes in their lobby. That's, that's bloat. That's what that is. I get it. Yeah, you're trying to make the employees happy. That's great that you're trying to make employees happy, but also look at it from the perspective of it just being absolute bloat. Right? Imagine how much more productive they could be if they weren't consistently... I forgot the malice. I forgot the malice. I'm going to want to imbue a weapon eventually. Whoops. Imagine how much more money they would have available for actively developing and fixing problems, and have a dedicated bug squashing squad that pushes out patches in a timely fashion. Imagine that. Have an R&D squad where they sit down and they actually research and development and do research and development. Have another squad of people that actually sits down and plays the product and listens to the people and says, you know what, we're going to play that product and we're going to play to see if it's enjoyable to play against or to see if it's a problem, right? There's a lot of companies that don't do that anymore. There's tons of companies out there that right now what they do, see right there's a one I wanted to do. A lot of companies out there right now, they just push out the product and they honestly don't care. They just don't. Because to them, it's a means to an end. And that means to an end is to make money for two classes of people. The higher-ups at the CEO, CFO positions, and shareholders. That's it. That's truly it. And that's the problem. So instead of having these companies become publicly traded, that was painful. What they need to do is they need to go back to these companies being privately traded so that it's only the people inside the company that can actually influence the company. And then that's it. Make it so that they don't have a whole bunch of, like, shareholders and people that are outside of the company looking at the company saying, yes, this is the route we need to take because that'll make us the most cash. And that's currently what's going on. Which is why the quality's dropped and the amount of shovelware has increased. Sad as it is. That's the sad, unfortunate truth. That's like, if you want your games back and you want them to be good, you have to get the investors out of it. Once you get all the investors out of the video game area and the video game sector, you won't have that problem anymore. Might take a year or two to sort out, but once it sorts out, you'll never have that issue again. And that's the thing. It would be cathartic. It'd be the cathartic release that the video game industry needs. Is it's not about game design. Right? There's a lot of stuff that obviously game design plays a factor because it has to be appealing to the masses. And by appealing to the masses, I'm saying if I make a game, well, I should say if I make another game. If I make another game and I put it out there and it's not appealing to the widest audience, I'm not gonna make it anyway. I'm gonna hold on to that right there. I mean, and that's the truth. Because when it comes to anything, right? You're making a product, okay? You want to sell this product to the widest demographic. To the demographic where you're going to have the most number of interested clientele. So how do you go about doing it? Well, you have to sell it to clientele that are willing to pay top dollar for it. Or any dollar for it. If they're not willing to pay money for it, then you're not going to have that. So you can't placate. Oh, that's a terrible one.
Good evening.
You can't placate a group. Wow, those are going to sell for a lot too. So I like just take those to Act 2 and make more money. You can't just placate a group of people. You can't do it because your product's not going to go anywhere. And it's about making a product that more people are going to want to purchase. And so what you've got is you've got this group of people out here that say, oh, you know, they're talking about games being what they call gooner games. You know what? You want to know what gooning was when I was growing up? It was when you and a couple other henchmen got together and went and rolled a guy because he owed money. Because you were goons. That's what it was called. You were going around gooning. You know, you and a couple other dudes. Going out and making sure that the boss got his money. Hired goons. They used to make a joke about it on The Simpsons. And they said, they knocked on, I believe it was Homer's door, and he says, who's there? They said, hired goons. And he's like, hired goons? And he opened the door, and the two mafioso people put a bag over his head. But they've since changed the definition, of course. Because they can't leave anything alone. They call them like gooner games, and they say, well, you know, you have these people out there that only care because the characters are aesthetically pleasing. Okay. Let's put on our thinking. Let's put on our thinking caps, as they used to say in high school. Who is the largest demographic? Stupid bugs, man. Who is the largest demographic in the gaming industry as a consumer? Generally, single men. Men in general, but mostly single men in gaming. Now, if people had the ability to look at either Drake from Uncharted or Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, they'd rather look at Lara Croft if they're a guy. 9 times out of 10, they would rather look at Lara Croft. But yet they still played Uncharted. Why is that? It was a good game. Had a solid story, kept people engaged. Right there. It went and it played to the idea of, hey, you're this treasure hunting person, kind of like Indiana Jones-esque character, which played into the whole, you know, mindset, the fantasy mindset of men, where, oh man, that'd be cool to be, you know, this international man of danger, kind of like James Bond, right? And so, of course, a lot of the guys took a look at the game and were like, I can see myself playing it. So they do. Then you take a look at the ooh, wait, Hunter's Bow, is that a 3-socket? Nope. You take a look at the games today, and the games today fall into one of two categories. They're either trying to push an agenda or some sort of political platform, or they're doing the exact opposite, just to spite those that are pushing a political platform. And it's because they're listening to the shareholders. It's like the new one that came out, that not Wukong, it was another one. It was it's largely popular because the protagonist is a woman. And I saw the gameplay footage of it, and I'm like, that looks boring. It literally looked like a Dark Souls game, and Wukong had a weird love child. That's what it looked like. And I was not at all interested in it. Not in the least. And it's because the gameplay looked terrible. And it's like, when are companies going to learn that you can't just put a coat of paint on a game and expect people to buy it for the coat of paint? It's legitimately the lipstick on a pig analogy made manifest. That's what it is. They're putting lipstick on a pig, and they're wondering why the pig doesn't sell. The pig didn't sell very well. Well, of course not. It's got lipstick on it. Everybody knows it. It's, yes, look at this aesthetically pleasing individual on the cover. Look inside the game, and it's shallow, uninspiring, and kind of pathetic. But it doesn't matter, because, you know, I guess scantily clad women, right? Some of the best games I've played, you couldn't tell what the main character was. Because it was a pack of pixels, you know? And it's like, that's what people need to do. They need to get back to games being about the game. So it's like companies. Any company that figures it out, right? Any company right now that figures it out will win big. All you have to do is allow players to have fun in the game. If that's private servers, cool. If that's having open chat communications with little to no oversight, fine and dandy. Obviously, you have to have certain legal oversight that if people are trying to incite violence, etc., or they're trying to do specifically highly illegal things, fine and dandy. But none of this whole policing of hate speech thing, right? If you can figure it out so that these people have the right to speak their mind within a frame of 3 seconds. Within the frame of, you're not trying to actually incite violence or something, or you're not trying to actually, you know, do something illegal, then if it falls outside of that framework of the legality, that should be different. Now, people would say, well, what about other places? Like in the UK, the UK has hate speech laws. True, they do. They do, 100%. Thing is it would go to country of origin, right? So if it's an American company, that would have to get adjudicated here. So if they said, oh, well, so and so said this hateful conduct on your software. Okay. And they weren't allowed to say that in the UK. Okay, but the company and the servers are in America. So we have the ability to say that. Whatever it is. He could call him any sort of thing he wanted to. And of course, if somebody finds it offensive in the UK, obviously they're going to go to prison. You should go to prison for posting memes over in the UK anymore. Or making a Facebook post in the UK. So it would have to be adjudicated here because of the whole, this is where the parent company is, this is where the servers are, so then they would have to come over here and have that adjudicated. And there's not a court in the land that would side with the other one, the other side of the adjudication, right? Knowing that, it opens it up to these companies being able to have things be sold. For example, another example, it'd be like if I was talking to somebody from China and they could speak English rather well, because I cannot speak Mandarin, I cannot speak Fujianese, I cannot speak Cantonese. So if somebody in China was to start talking to me in English and I was to tell them about what happened in Tibet and the tank in Tiananmen Square, right? I don't know if that was in Tibet, but anyway, if I was to tell them what happened with the whole Tiananmen Square thing, technically speaking, in China they would say nope, credit score violation, can't have that, and that would be monitored, and the comms would be cut off. Okay, but because it's here and he's connecting to the U.S. server, that would have to get adjudicated here, not in China. And he would not be held against. He would not have repercussions held against him here. Obviously, he would if he went back to China. But you see what I'm talking about. Like, they'd have to have some form of way to get back to that sort of raw video game nerd. Right? That's one step that the company would have to take. And the reason I say that is this. Look at the other old Call of Duty lobbies, right? All the old Call of Duty lobbies. They said some of the worst things known to man to one another, right? And yet, everybody at the end got along and they were all like, oh yeah, I dunked on you, etc. after they were trash talking in the beginning of the game. And that was the point of it all. Is there was a camaraderie in the trash talk. You'd hear something and somebody else would say something else that was really funny and it was a lot of quick wit and it wasn't just, derogatory. It was just quick-witted trash talk back and forth. And at the end of the game, you earned respect for that, having that quick wit, right? Those days are gone right now because they try to create this sanitized space where people can't talk and can't have interactions. This is one of the reasons I don't run voice comms on Call of Duty anymore. And it's because there used to be a time where even saying something like GG or oh, you could have played better or something like that, that would hurt somebody's feelings and you would get banned. That's how it's gotten. And of course you have people out there that don't believe that. And to them I say, go to Overwatch. Yeah, I know, Overwatch, LOL. But go to Overwatch. Play a game of Overwatch, and at the end of the game of Overwatch, type GG in the chat. You'll get suspended. There was a rash of suspensions for saying GG in the chat, which just stood for good game. Whether or not the game was good or not, didn't matter. People mass reported it, and now it gets adjudicated automatically. So, 3-step process for any company. First, do not do automated adjudication of reports. Absolutely not. Instead, do manual adjudication of reports, because there are so many people who have their experiences ruined because one player gets salty thinking another player's cheating. So, instead of doing automatic adjudication, switch to a manual adjudication. And once that's happened, you can move on to phase 2. Phase 2. Immediately buy all the shares. Yes, it's going to cost these companies a lot of money, but privatize your company. Go private again. Don't become a publicly traded company. Kick all of these CEOs and shareholders out, and now just become a company focused solely on making games for making games' sake. And number 3. I understand you want to create a great workspace for all of your coworkers and everything, but it's time to take away, the custom latte bars that exist in certain areas. It's time to take away the creature comforts. Okay? Of course, people aren't going to believe that. They're not going to like it, but those are the breaks, my friend. Those are the 3 reasons why companies have gone to manure. And why video games have gone to manure. It wasn't all, people like to try to blame, the diversity hires, right? It's not the diversity hires. It's not. There are some times that, you pick up an equal opportunity hire that doesn't work out. Okay. Once in a blue moon, you'll pick one up that doesn't work. No problem. Right? That's not the reason that your company and your product is failing. It's because you're listening to the shareholders and not the consumers. Who makes you more money? The consumers or the shareholders? This goes for any product. You could be selling lawn chairs or toilet paper, right? Let's say you're selling toilet tissue, toilet rolls, and you decide, we're going to make our toilet roll out of 20 grit sandpaper. Okay. All because the shareholders say it'll make you an extra couple of quick bucks. Because it's cheaper to use sandpaper than it is to use actual toilet rolls. Alright? And it cleans better. It could say something like that. Like, it cleans better and you'll use less. Of course you'll use less. It's because you're sanding your own anus. Because it's toilet tissue. And yet they'll still listen to the shareholders. Even though your consumers that are buying your product for many years have grown to have what is called brand loyalty, which exists, are now getting burned by the fact that you've just changed your toilet tissue from regular paper to sandpaper. And I don't mean burned as like a rash, but ha 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 ha, nudge nudge, wink wink. Same effect occurs. Right? So it's like, don't do that. And they're basically burning all of their goodwill by being sleazebags, and they need to not do that.
I can't carry it.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna give me 2 large charms. I see how it is.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned. Maybe I'm old fashioned. But if you're gonna sit there and rug pull a product and make everybody upset because the product isn't made the same way, perfect example of that, by the way. And everybody's gonna think I'm taking a shot at the man, but I'm not. Mr. Beast's Feastables. These Feastable bars, right? When they first came out, they were made with what? 6 ingredients? 7 ingredients? Real good quality ingredients. Like, it was made with like organic peanut butter, organic sugar, like actual cane sugar. It was made with actual ingredients, and it was good. It was a good product, it tasted good, and it wasn't filled with preservatives and chemicals. It was quite literally just a solid chocolate bar when it came out. Pick one up today. If you pick one up today, it's got chemicals in it. It's got preservatives. It's got other things in it. Things you don't need. Things that are bad for you. Very bad for you. What happened? He made more money. He made more money switching to chemicals. Why? This is cheaper. He switched to other things like flavor enhancers. Yeah, it might still have some organic stuff in there, but it's got like something like, was it BHA to preserve things? Why does it need it? Technically doesn't. But yet, there they are. And they're doing it because it makes them more money. Because it's less overhead to buy those things. You can buy those in bulk and stretch your product with filler and everything else. And yes, I did. And now he may have switched back. I haven't picked one up in like years, over a year. I tried them ages ago, and I thought, hey, these are actually really good. And then I read what was in them, and it was like contains 5 ingredients. I was shocked. I was legitimately shocked. I sat there and I was impressed, because it contained 5 ingredients. And then now when you flip them over, they don't contain just 5 ingredients. A little bit more than that. Now, he could have changed back. I'm not sure. I know that for a short while there, that they had a whole bunch of extra ingredients in it that they didn't need. And it's like, well, why would you do that? And it's like, that's the problem. You know, you go and you change your product, and people have gotten used to the product previous, and so they started buying it out of brand loyalty, and then when they buy it again, they buy the new one, it's different, and it doesn't taste as good. And it's, you know, it's not as good for you. Obviously, no chocolate bar is good for you, but if you can make something that is better for you than not, by using organic, you know, whole ingredients, actual ingredients, that's better for you than if you were using, say, a whole bunch of preservatives and everything, right? So by doing that, it makes it, you know, it made the product very good, and so people got loyal to it. And then of course it changed, I believe, as I saw one the other day. This was a while ago. Like I said, it's about a year ago. I picked one up and I flipped it over, and it's completely different. And later that year, it was actually right around Halloween that year. I believe it was 2022, 2023, 2022. Because I posted a thing on Twitter. I said, why don't you sell your Feastables in bags to give out for Halloween candy? You know, might as well give the kids something actually beneficial rather than just like Reese's or something. Because it was back then that they were still good quality, and I think the quality's diminished a little. Now, if it hasn't, and I'm wrong, then so be it. but I recall reading that they changed some of the composition on it. I'll have to look it up to make sure. But I'm just going off what I recall reading.
Not enough mana. I need mana.
That's not good. He's gonna... Yep.
Hello.
He couldn't take the poison. Neither could my minions. They all just bit it. But no, like, you know, having...
Not enough mana.
If you use good product, you'll win.
Back to the hell that spawned you, Andariel.
There's three criteria that a product should have, right? But it's not necessary to have all three. You only need two of the three to succeed. And the first of that is your product has to have
I'll put that to good use.
a
Finally.
give me a second here. You have to have a good product, whether it be high quality or whether it be just longevity. Either a high quality, like a quality material, or the product lasts longer than it normally would. And I don't mean like a food product, I mean like a tool or a cog in a wheel or bushings or something that is going to get a lot of wear and tear. If you can make a higher quality product and make it more expensive, people will be apt to buy it because it's a higher quality product. Right?
Good evening.
And the other thing is,
Greetings.
so product, price, and people. They're the three P's
Greetings.
of any sort of creation whatsoever. Matter of fact, let me bring that up, bro. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. They changed it right here. You used to just have milk chocolate, which was sugar, cocoa butter, skim milk, lactose, milk fat, and soy. And then it has peanuts, corn syrup, sugar, palm oil, skim milk, lactose, salt, egg whites, and artificial flavor. Never used to have artificial flavor. It's now like it went from being minimal and they changed it. So I did look it up. They say simple, high quality ingredients. And it used to be, yeah, it says right on it, like the old one said no artificial flavors. And now the ones on this one, hold on, let me bring this up. Hopefully it doesn't have anything talking. Yeah, and it shows it there. It shows how many grams of sugar in it, but that's not the point. Artificial flavor is also included, which has toxicity concerns, even though it used to say doesn't have artificial flavors. So that's the thing is he changed it because he wasn't getting enough of the actual flavor. So I was right. Used to be like chocolate, peanuts, or like peanut butter, which had palm oil in it, which is either has palm or rapeseed oil in it for peanut butter. You used to have chocolate, peanut butter, and like 3 other things: soy lecithin, and I think eggs and milk, something like that, or whey, something like that. It was one or the other, and that's what it used to have in it. It was like 5 ingredients, 6 ingredients. None of them were artificial flavor. They now have artificial flavor. They now have more ingredients than 5 or 6 ingredients, and it's to create bloat. But like I was saying about the whole thing, product, price, and people. Now, what that means is your product has to be a good product. Your price has to be the product has to be worth the money, number one. Number two, it can't be too expensive, right? And number 3, the people, customer service. Now, you don't need all 3. You can land 2 of the 3 and you're golden, right? You can have a great product at a great price, but your customer service sucks absolute wang. That was Blizzard ages ago. And when that's the case, people will still buy the product because it was a great product at a great price. You could have a garbage product at a phenomenal price with great customer service. Oh, we'll give you free returns. We'll give you free returns because we know the product is trash, essentially. And it takes them next to nothing to make. So you buy one and they can switch it out for 3 or 4. And they'll still make a profit on it, right? But generally, you'll get your mileage out of the product before you need to return it. Or you can have the product and the people, but the price is too high. So amazing product, amazing customer service, but the price is massive. People will still buy it. Why? Look at the product you're getting. Yeah, you pay more, but you're paying for that customer service. 24/7 customer service. You can mail it in at any time. They repair. They give you free. They send you a box to put your broken one in, and they give you a new one in that box. Bun coffee makers fits that bill, right? You'll pay more for a Bun coffee maker. You'll pay $150, $200 for a Bun coffee maker. Let me tell you, they last ages. Matter of fact, the coffee maker I have is a Bun. It's a pour over. You pour the water in it. It's like an automatic drip, quick one. It's a quick brew. Brews a pot of coffee in like 2 minutes. Minute and a half, 2 minutes. And we've had it for 17 years, 18 years. Still runs, still makes hot coffee, still perfect. When it dies, we call Bun. Bun says, we're sending you a box with a new one in it. And you only have to pay like $50, $60. Because they want the old one back. They said, mail us the old one. That's what they've said every single time. We had one that died. The heating element burned up in it. And we called Bun. We said, our coffee maker doesn't work. It no longer heats. The heating element burned out. Bun's like, we'll have a box in the mail tomorrow. In it was a brand new coffee maker, brand new carafe, brand new basket. Mailed it to us for no charge. And they said, put the old one in, and you owe us like $40 for the new coffee maker. They're normally like $140 for the one we got. It cost us nothing because they wanted the old one back. So what they do is they tear it apart. They want to know why it died. They tear it apart, they replace the part, and they sell it as a refurbished model for cheaper. And they make money on it. They used to have one down here. It's a 7-Eleven. It's a big industrial model. Bun. It's got the 2 flippers on it and everything. I walked over there and I went to get some coffee, and my friend Mike was working there, and Mike's like, coffee maker's broke. And I looked and I leaned over like this and I said, it's a Bun. He's like, yeah. I said, tell your manager. Tell your manager to call Bun. He goes, why? I said, I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do. He said they're going to do 3 steps. 1, they're going to drive out here with a truck and a repair guy. I said they're going to show up. So when they walk in, they're going to take one look at the machine. And they're going to see if they can repair it. They're going to look it all over. If they can repair it, they'll repair it and they'll leave. And they'll bill you for the repair, of course, because it's 7-Eleven. They're just going to bill 7-Eleven corporate for the repair. I said, but chances are, they're going to walk out to the truck and bring in a new one and take the old one with them. I went down 3 days later. I walked in and I'm like, hey, Mike. And he's like, hey. I looked over and said, oh, new coffee maker. I said, let me guess. Bun came in and did exactly what I said. He's like, to a T. They walked in, they looked it over, realized it was going to take longer to repair, and it would be easier to replace, and they could take that one back to the shop. And I was like, told you. That's all you have to do. Just call them up. I said, they're one of the best companies out there. And they are. And their product is reliable. And again, they land the whole product and customer service. The price is a little high, but they land 2 of the 3, and they're still in business. See? I mean, obviously they have to adapt. They have Bun K-cup coffee makers. They have Bun cold presses. I think they have a cold press. They might have a French press one. Not 100% sure on the French press. They might have one. But anyway, and you only need 2 of those things. So if a video game company can hit product and price and have some semblance of customer service, you can make money hand over fist. So long as they stay out of having the CEOs and other shareholders dictate everything. That's why Call of Duty went the way it did. That's why Call of Duty has all those zany things in it. That's why Fortnite went the way it did. Why it has all those zany things in it. Because the shareholders go, hey, that'll make a lot of money. Well, I'll go talk to my buddy over here at Paramount. Oh, well, we can get the rights to Beavis and Butthead or Viacom. Well, we can get the rights to Beavis and Butthead in Call of Duty. Okay. And it's made them money. Because it's nostalgia. Doesn't affect gameplay, but it affects their pocketbook and their bottom line. So that's what it is. At any rate, we got past Andariel. Yeah, I had to go back to town. But we got past her. So far, Ray's skeleton's working out. We're looking for 3 specific runes for the bow. And I'm looking for Tal F. I have 2 Tal runes. They came off of the Countess in Act 1. And that was in the first video. And we're looking for the 3 other. We're looking for Eth runes so I can make stealth armor. And we're also looking for the runes to make edge bow. I have a longbow now. It's got 3 sockets. So we're looking for the runes to make edge. Once we get both of those, the build should be online relatively, and it should be good. But I hope everybody enjoyed this video, because I did. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.